Hi, my name is Diana. I run All Things Laser Earrings, where I love to share tips and tricks and challenge you to make really cool earrings. I love doing inlay. That's what we're talking about today. And today is it's a challenging inlay. I've been really obsessed with bows. It's Christmas, and I've been making different earrings, and I really love making this file. But I discovered as I was making it that this is a more of a delicate file to make an inlay earring with. But I'm going to show you what I do to make sure it doesn't break. So in wood, I found it's pretty much, wood in this case is actually holding together really well. I'll show you what I do to get it in, because some of these pieces seem a little bit tight. And maybe what I should have done is actually brought down my kerf just like a smidge. My kerf is already pretty low. It's only 0.005. And maybe I should have just brought it up a notch, or rather brought it down a notch on these tighter pieces. Maybe 0.004 would have not led to some of the problems I've had with the assembly. But okay, here we go. So as you can see, it's pretty thin, and I wanted it to be delicate. And obviously that's giving me problems. But I wanted to show you what I do. For first, on the wood, I just want to show you how I've been putting in these little tighter pieces. I have basically been using just tweezers, but basically the flat surface, and using it kind of as a lever to bring it down. So we're gonna come here, and this is wood with acrylic. And wood, as you know, is a little bit more pliable, is a little bit more forgiving. So I can get away with kind of pushing it down and it going in, because this is really tight. And like I was saying, kerf, once you figure out the kerf, and I have other videos that explain kerf, and I'll link them down below. It's not like once you figure it out, that's what it's going to be all the time. Not at all, unfortunately. Unfortunately, you have to keep tweaking it with each file. And in this case, I think since I have such sharp, smaller pieces, I needed to have brought it down a notch. But what happened actually is my autofocus got jammed yesterday, and I've been fixing it today. So maybe once I fix it with the Aeon support, I will go in and make some slightly smaller pieces to see if this works better. But anyway, so I got that in. I'm going to use this again, and I am going to, did you hear that? That's what you want to hear, really, when you're doing inlay, because that piece is not going anywhere. That snapped in. And let's just move this one down. And there we go. It is ready to go. Look how cool that is. I love it. I love this one so much. Look at this. Mirrored red with the green sparkle. So beautiful. I can't make another one of these because this is actually what I was making when my autofocus got jammed in my material. So we're going to make some with pieces I already have. I already have this one. I am going to, so this is acrylic. So the problem with acrylic when you're doing a more delicate design, one, it can easily snap. Acrylic is snappable. It is delicate. Once this is all assembly though, you are safe. It's not going to go anywhere. But you have to be careful it doesn't break. So this whole snapping it into place I did with the wood is probably not the best idea to do with acrylic. You might just pop your acrylic, as in you might just break it. So I am going to go in. I'm going to take off my glasses so I can see better close up. And I'm going to go in, and I am going to gently push it in. That one actually went in pretty easily. Did you hear the little snap? It was a good snap. This one is being a little bit stubborn. Ooh. So this is where I get a little bit concerned. You might get to see acrylic snap on this tutorial. I don't want it, but it's always a good learning thing to show people. Oh no, I'm good. So I'm going side. So I got that side in, to side, and there we go. It is in. And this is so tight. It is not going to go anywhere. It broke. Okay, did you guys see that? It broke. So I think in this case, I need to make, everything else seems to be going in really well, but even we saw with this one, this corner one is not wanting to go in. So I am going to have to go in, and I don't know if you can see it, but it basically split along the seam there. So I have two options, and one for the file that I am going to put up, I am going to thicken this because sometimes just thickening it, offsetting it just a little bit is enough to make the file stronger. And I don't want people to be snapping their files. So I am going to thicken these lines just a little because it's probably just a little too thin here. And two, when I go in and I'm going to go in again and see if I can do it again. It might snap again. But I'm going to, when I get my laser up and running, I am going to make this, just this one piece, 0.004 offset as opposed to 0.005 offset. And that just shows that just because you have your kerf, and the kerf is normally works for most things, it doesn't always work for everything, and it really depends on materials. Some materials are tougher. Acrylic, for example, especially if you don't have like this, I've got my settings pretty much down, but if your acrylic doesn't have a smooth edge like this, you really have to make sure your acrylic is cutting smoothly and kind of melting your edge as it cuts. If it doesn't, then you are going to be decreasing your kerf because you're going to have ridges. So if you have ridges, your kerf is going to be less. And then some acrylic is stronger than others. So acrylic with glitter, for example, is not as strong as just like a matte acrylic. Like this acrylic is stronger than the mirror acrylic. So just have that in mind. Not all acrylic is made the same. Some acrylic is stronger than others. But let's try and put this one in and see if we can do this. I really wanted to do a pink one. Ironically, this is almost going in a little too easily. So there you go. Let me see if I need to turn it around. Remember that the direction of your material really matters. Oh, the ironies. On this one is actually a little too loose. No, this is the right. On this one, it's okay. On this one, it's too loose. This is a video where you get to see where things don't necessarily work out as I was planning. Actually, I can twist it around and like make it go in snugly, but it's not, there's going to be like empty space, and I don't want that. So actually this one, it's probably going to go in. I am having a lot less problems with this one. Go in. This is so interesting. I mean, this is all the same file. Yeah, this one's actually too loose. So it's so interesting how it's exactly the same file, exactly the same cut measurements, completely different result. So this just shows that it really is dependent. And I have a feeling that this mirror just kind of cut a little too much, like it melted a little too much as it was cutting. And actually I can tell looking, you can see, especially in this one, you can see how it's a little bit eaten up. So there you go. I love this combo though. It's the other way, but it's not going to stay. Of course, the way you can fix that, and that gets rid of all your problems, is to have a backer. And what you do, you just get the outer file and you eliminate all, you ungroup and you eliminate all these pieces on the inside, and you just cut out a backer, and then you don't have to worry about the inlay staying in place if it's making you nervous. So you look at that. That was not tight enough, and most of my pieces are falling out. So there you go. That is interesting. I did want to show you something else though. Like if you do have smaller pieces and they're making you nervous to take them out, I once again use some tweezers, and I just push in really gently on something from the back to get them out. Because sometimes, once again with acrylic, you have to be careful. And I am going to thicken these lines. I can tell that this is actually thinning out over here when it cuts, so I'm going to offset this file just a little. And there you go. Got these out. And now I have to go back in, and I am going to redesign the file, make it a little bit thicker. And I am going to make this piece just a smidgen less offset and see if this works better. So I'm back, and I've been recutting this file. I got my laser up working again. Somehow my autofocus crashed on my Mirror 9, and I found out that my nozzle was loose. So if you have a Mirror 9, or once in a while, once a week, check that your nozzle isn't getting loose, because I've now had to reset my laser twice because of the nozzle getting loose. So it was lower than my autofocus pin, and it like jam the whole machine. But that's fixed now. So we're back. And I cut some more glitter, green glitter for this bow. And what I did do, like I said, I made all of this for me, like my kerf 0.005, except for this one little piece, I did 0.004. So now let's put it in. And hopefully it'll all go in nicely. It's going in actually really perfectly. There. So at first, don't try to force it down because this is a delicate design. That might not be in the right way. This glitter is perfect both ways. So I'm actually not sure. Oh, that one went in a little too perfectly. And this way here. I take my glasses off. This way. There we go. There we go. Fixed it. And go in there perfectly. And now this was the piece that keeps cracking. There, perfect. And now the only piece doesn't look. Having this on my thumb makes it that little bit harder. I'm wondering if this is the right way. So let's flip it around first. Like this, having the Band-Aid like really sticks out. There we go. I just had to flip it around. My puppy punctured my nail twice. So I need to like protect it for a while. So where did I put here, we'll use this one. So remember, very gently, since this is a delicate and tight fit, I'm just going to press down gently with this flat surface. Here, gently. I'm going to be quiet so you can hear that click. You hear that? Perfect. That's what you want, because then you know it's not going to go anywhere. It's basically clicked into place. So one more. There we go. Beautiful. There we go. Perfect. And this is not going anywhere. I love this pair. It couldn't be more Christmassy, right? You can only get away with this at Christmas. Beautiful. And I will have the list below, and I'll offer one alternative with a backing. So if you're not feeling very secure about inlay, and you can just put a very thin 16th of an, I'm going to show you what I've done here with this other file. Where we go here. This refile where you can just put a backing behind. If you don't really want to do the inlay, and I always suggest having a 16th of an inch backing. I got to assemble this earring again. And yeah, I love this. I also redid this one. I don't know. This is when kerf sometimes just messes with you. There's 3 different kerfs on this one. There's 0.003, 0.005, and one had to be a little bit bigger. I can't tell you which one. So sometimes, I don't know. What I'm guessing is that when this cut, and I can tell from the back, you see how there's like little burn marks. Oh, you see, this one's like a little too loose. You definitely don't want that. Sometimes it burn, when it's melting, when the acrylic is melting as it cuts, it melts a little unevenly. So in this case, I probably cut this mirror a little too hot for this mirror. So this is another factor that goes into your kerf. Some materials some acrylics will melt more than others as you're cutting. If this is happening to you and you have one piece that's just being a little bit too loose, everything else is really tight in here, you can always just put a touch of glue. So you can come to the back here. I'll lay it flat and use a clear glue, like Gorilla Glue. And what I would do, and I'm going to show you. I was doing watercolor, so my paper is very colorful right now. Watercolor on wood, which is always a really fun ombre. You can create really fun ombre effects, and I will have a tutorial on that up at some point. So I can't even remember which one was it. It's this one. So what I do, once again, I use your weeding tool. So you have a really thin area of glue. put it on some paper, your glue, grab your glue, and I would just like push it along the seams, drag it along the seam so it's kind of like you're getting the glue in there where you basically just have a little too much space. And this generally is all you need to hold it together. So put it along. And I really suggest keeping it really thin so that you can't really see it very well. But like a little bit of glue goes a long way. And then here, I'm just gonna use this, and I'm actually gonna like wipe off the excess of the glue. And the great thing of this glue is that it dries completely clear. So it's the Gorilla clear glue. And after trying a ton of glues, also I'll have a tutorial on that. This is what I'm now using with acrylic pretty much almost all the time because it glues on completely clear. It doesn't eat into the acrylic like the CNA glues do. It doesn't smell, which is a big one for me. And the only disadvantage, which is also a big advantage at times, it doesn't glue instantly. So you have some time to work with it. So there you go, like this. And then I'm just going to leave this. It takes half an hour for it to hold and 24 hours for it to cure. Let this be, and we'll test it out in half an hour and see if it's stuck in there or not. Wow, and it's not moving. If you need a little bit more, it doesn't hurt. Just use like your weeding tool with like a thin edge and like grab some glue and go along the edges there and just like put it in there. I can see a little bit of a gap there. That's why I did. My brain was like, you need to fill that a little bit better. So there you go. And here you go. So this is like a tutorial on more delicate inlays. I'm not saying it's for everyone. It will definitely test your kerf settings. I will link up my longer tutorial for kerf underneath. It's so much fun. And then look how beautiful these earrings are. It's a great way to use all the different pattern ply. It's a great way to have the same file and adapt it for different seasons. This bow is super Christmassy right now, but this can totally be a Valentine's bow or an Easter bow. You just change the colors for Easter. I just have it more in pastels. For Valentine's, I'd have it more in tones of pink, maybe pastel pinks. So it's a great way to adapt files. And it's just a fun technique, and you're not limited in size. You can do it for small. Obviously, the smaller you go, if it's like small, sharp elements like we saw there, you might have to adapt your kerf. It makes it a little bit harder. But I recently made a really big welcome, like Day of the Dead inspired sign. And kerf was like butter. It's amazing. The bigger it is, the easier kerf is. Like there's less room for it to fight you. So it actually was like one of the easiest kerf projects I've ever done. And I'll link that below too, just if you're curious on how to do a bigger kerf inlay project. Once again, thank you so much for watching. If you want to join a really supportive Facebook group, join me on All Things Laser. We post our projects. We uplift each other and answer questions. And if you want to join my membership, file and course club where you have access to all my courses and to 10 files, exclusive files a month, you can join at allthingslaser earrings.com. And thank you so much for watching.